Andy, Jamie, how's it going?
Hey, Scott. Yeah, good, man. Thank you very much. Hi, Jamie. How are you?
Andy, howdy to you and hello to everybody out there.
Yes. Hello, everybody out there, and welcome to the trading studio. I'm Andy, and that's Jamie and Scott, and appreciate you joining us today. Let's dive in. Before we do, we got to go over the disclaimer. All right, we are a content publisher here at Trade Ideas. Nothing that you see or hear should be construed as investment advice. Okay, if you are looking for such advice, you want to seek out a registered advisor or a stockbroker. All right, get that out of the way and let's move on. I didn't want to do that. All right, agenda for today, market recap. Definitely some things to talk about today. I think a lot of people were really fired up about the continued bull market, and then all of a sudden, a Fed governor too put a kind of a cold bucket of water, man, threw it on it. But anyway, we'll dissect the market and where it may be heading from here. What are some of the indications that may be driving the direction of the market? So, and then Jamie's going to highlight Holly recap. It's always a tough day for Holly, and although not too bad considering the market conditions. So Jamie will take over and talk about that. And then I recorded a couple of my races that I run every morning. And I want to kind of show you guys what I kind of like to look at when I'm watching these races in the morning, and not just like, oh boy, here's the winner, I'm buying it, because I think you still have to be a trader, and you still have to look at the charts and volume and things like that. See if they had earnings. That's always a good thing to look at. Anyway, we'll go over it as we watch one of the races here and look at some of the winners in the early race this morning, and kind of dissect a few of them to see which ones had the potential. Of course, we have to take into consideration what the market did today. So, but nonetheless, it'll be fun. And then a new top list for you guys. I got this from the death row inmates that I created a while back, and sorry, I didn't mean to do that, but I'll just leave it here for the next segment. So anyway, I'll share with you guys a new bullish strategy, kind of the inverse of the death row inmates, where everything's above all the moving averages, and kind of got maybe a possible 5-day launching pattern setting up. So we'll tackle that when we get to it. All right, before we move on to anything else, let's go over the 5-star support, education, and training. Since I did know there were a lot of people in here that are not subscribers yet, okay? We have plenty of resources, guys, for you to get all the help you need. Even though this software is very powerful, it's the best learning software in the business. I've been using it since inception, but it can be as basic as you want to be, because now we have built-in races. I mean, these are pre-configured races for you, pre-configured channels for pretty much anything that you're looking for. So you can use it right out of the box. Of course, what you'll want to do over the weeks ahead is kind of make it your own, personalize it and have it to fit your style of trading, your niche, if you will. But once again, a lot of resources to help you with that. These webinars we have weekly, we have 2 each week. You can see them over there on the left side. And let me not forget to talk about the Traders Room. If you're not in there, guys, boy, this is free for everyone. You don't have to be a subscriber, okay? Just go to our website and you can find the Traders Room, and just be sure you sign up for that. Great place to be. Barry's a very good trader. He's a very good moderator. He keeps it tight and clean in there. And not only that, he'll help you with the software. A lot of people think he just wants to trade, but not the case, okay? Especially after the first couple hours of the day, he will definitely help you out in there. And then, of course, I mentioned all these weekly webinars that we have. And finally, if I go over to the next one, we have our daily support sessions. These are every weekday at 12 p.m. I know a lot of you people that are in the trading room just hang out in there and wait for these things for us to take over. Great place to come. It's an hour long. We open up the live stream just like Barry does, and you can ask questions, and we can show you using the software and help you to do things that you might be struggling with. So this is going to be your best place to come if you have questions where you need a visual. A lot of people send us emails to info@trade-ideas.com. That's great. But if you really want to see something being done, you know, a good visual, come to these things, man, because you really can't beat it. All right. And I will save this for Scott on the way out, and then we will dive in to the market recap. And I'm not sure if this Tesla is real or not. Let's just take a look. A lot of times I don't know why it went off. It doesn't look like it's trading there. Let me reset that because I do want to be notified if it ever breaks through that all important pivot right there on Tesla. All right. Here's the SPYs, and I drew some kind of crude, not crude, they're actually pretty decent looking gnarly wedge that we have there in the SPYs. When you get volatility like we've seen over the last several weeks, your wedges are going to look like this, and albeit very steep, okay, it still would have to be considered, you know, a wedge in my opinion, and we are kind of painting ourselves in the corner. It looked like today we were going to just, man, things were looking good, but you did have this real important pivot line right here around the 458 in the SPYs that we could not get through on this day. We could not get through on that day. And then right here, we hit it, didn't quite go through yesterday's high, stalled out after a huge move in the morning. Man, we were so excited. We were doing very well in the morning. Great trading the first few hours, but boy, I tell you, as Jamie likes to say, if you don't take those cookies, somebody took them. And fortunate for me, I did kind of start taking some profits up there, but that's what happened, guys. We ran into that. Now we're back down at the lower end of this, like I said, very steep wedge lines. These lines here. So this is the area you want to watch. If we take out tomorrow's low, and especially this kind of important line right here, we got a lot of wicks down here, but you can see the base of the bodies, you know, just kind of, that's kind of an area that if we do get through tomorrow, and it's not going to be too far from today's low, and then we got that 200-day moving average. Yeah, we could be revisiting, you know, this area back over here again. So I don't want to sound too bearish, but it is kind of frustrating, you know, because in the past, it seems like we've made these bounces really quick once we find a bottom like that, and we looked like we were going to there, pulled back, and looked like we attacked it again here. And we'll just see, because I know the buy the dippers will start getting frustrated, you know, if we can't, you know, push through the rest of these moving averages here. All right, let me take off some of these lines. And let's take a look at the Qs, which really is showing more weakness than the SPYs by far, and probably has a lot to do with interest rates. You can see the Qs now are back below all their moving averages again, okay? So be careful. I was in some Google that I bought the other day, but I scalped it today. I bought it off the gap fill right here. Suffered a little bit of pain, but then it bounced back nicely. And then yesterday, you know, I did fine, but then today, you know, once it could not hold above this 50 and the market started getting, well, I just took a little scalp on that. Wasn't much, but that's what you're seeing right now in a lot of the tech stocks, okay? Like I said, the overall Qs are below their moving averages now, all of them. Okay, there's your 200 that it could not get through the last couple of days. 50 is way up here, and now we're back below our 10 period, which is right there, and our 20 period. So, and look here, we even got a little wedge, a steep wedge built here in the Qs. So below that, we could, you know, we could start to break down some more, even more in the Qs. Let's take a look at the IWM real quick. And IWM was showing some great relative strength today. You can see here, guys, the kind of rotation that we've been seeing. And the IWM actually over the last few days popped above their 10 period moving average, ran into their 20 period. And then today, boy, it looked like we were at least going to try to get up to this 50 period and this definitely a pivot level. There's these lows that we broke through, could not do it, put in a ugly topping tail. And we'll have to see where that goes from here. Still above its 10 and its 20, but boy, you don't like to see those kind of candles if you're in a stock or an ETF or anything. Those are usually bearish. But we'll see. You know, this has been a resilient market for a very long time, so we'll have to see what tomorrow brings or the days ahead. But definitely a disappointing day, I would say, for the bulls. And yeah, we can sit here and kick back and forth, you know, the reasons why, but price action is really the only thing that matters. I think, you know, everybody knows inflation, what's happening here, and interest rates are going higher, and so you know, people scratching their head, boy, are the Fed's gonna ever come back to the table, you know, with some more candy? I don't know.
But Andy, they said that inflation was transitory.
Yeah, exactly.
I just remember when I heard them say that, I'm like, have you ever heard of that in your life? Like,
I know.
Inflation comes and then all of a sudden it's gone, you know?
Yep, I know.
But oh well.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't need to go there, but yeah, I'll tell you one thing: if it gets out of hand, yeah, that's when it gets really ugly. But I'm old enough to remember, you know, in the 80s, 70s, and 80s when it did get out of hand, and of course, interest rates didn't think they would ever stop. But all right, Jamie, I think you got anything to add?
No, you summed it up pretty well. I mean, the charts speak, you know, and you know, obviously we're not. I mean, it's debatable whether we're beginning it's the beginnings of a bear market or it's definitely bearish action as of late. Of course, we know that it could all change pretty quickly.
Yeah. And if you looked at this on a plot graph, you know, if you just showed the close of each day, I mean, let's face it, and basically we're in no man's land really right here. We're in between some averages, and although the Qs are below, but yeah, it's hard to get real bearish on this. But I'm the type of guy that boy, when I don't get what I expect to get, I'm quick to get out. I don't sit around and wait. That's the good thing we have, Jamie, by being able to watch the market all day, man. We can get in and out quick.
This is true.
Yep. All right. Well, if you want to take it over for a bit and talk a little bit about
yeah, it's going to be pretty short and sweet with Holly today. But before I move on here, I was just looking at Todd's question. He was asking about volume, applying volume to his regular scans and favorite metrics and whatnot. And of course, you know, here among myself and Andy and, you know, the rest of our trader friends that are here at the firm, I know that, you know, one of our go-tos is relative volume. Seems to be one of the big favorites. Of course, if I right click, and I'll just quickly pop into a config screen here for an alert window. We've got all these great volume metrics, like for the smaller time frames. So scanning the volume on the 5-minute is a nice complement to my relative volume. But of course, you know, you can see the different time selections there. So it's whatever intraday time period might appeal to you. I've just noticed that with relative volume combined with some of the smaller metrics, smaller time frame metrics, it paints a pretty good picture, you know, because relative volume can die off at any time of the day, start to go backwards, or it can get stale. But if I just pull my, let's see here, I'll pull my single stock window over here. So you can see I can always see my relative volume right here. And then I can quickly glance down here and see, okay, if relative volume is high, is the volume still in the stock? And keep in mind a reading of 100 on those smaller time frames is normal. So when you look down, you see something rocking out 1,000, you know, yes, we have high relative volume, and it's also still doing 10x what is considered normal on the 5-minute or the 15 or the 30. So hope that sheds a little bit of light on that topic for you. Okay, Holly. Now, as you can see here, I've got the all trades blotter up. See all these numbers here, and just keep in mind that the numbers that you're seeing in my all trades blotter for the AI are based around using $100 risk per trade, okay? You can see the options up here, dollars per trade, shares per trade. I'm risking $100. That way you can make sense of these numbers here. So in essence, in conservative mode on the Sava short, we made about almost, not quite 2R there. For risking 100, made 200, that'd be 2R. So we'll just start off with this trade, the best trade of the day for the AI, which happened to be a short. And Sava was the textbook setup going into the regular session here. And had some really nice pre-market action as soon as it cracked that level there, took the big run up. Holly said to herself, oh, this thing's a little overdone. The separation from the 8 short kicked in. Got a pretty beautiful short signal up here, and this thing hit its profit target pretty quickly. Matter of fact, in about 7 minutes, if we look at the entry time here of 10:07 my time, which is Central Time, exit time of 10:14, and that target was hit pretty quickly there. So usually I like to take, if there is any conservative and moderate spread, which we're looking at these columns right here, conservative and moderate. Conservative, there is a little bit of spread here between conservative, we'll just call that 200 bucks, 255 over here. But Holly was in and out of this one so quickly. You know, if we would have held this one all the way till the end, which, you know, the exit was right here at the target area, could have got a little bit more juice out of it, holding it until the close. Once it got below there, never really could recover, but only to the tune of about 50 extra bucks there. And on a decent day, not only will we have multiple trades where we do have some decent spread there, but sometimes in these choppy markets, like we've been experiencing here lately, it's a little harder for even a statistical system to target the alpha and find it efficiently here. So decent trade in Sava. And usually I like to showcase, you know, any trade arounds, which are typically going to be associated with a stop out. And then did the stock turn and go the way we thought it would after the stop out hit? Well, on this SCCO, you can see the buy was way up here. We got stopped out here, stayed well below that stop area. So there was never really a chance for the bounce set up off of the stop area, acting as a pivot point. Goose on the short, pretty much the same thing, just inverted, pretty much an inverted version of the SCCO. Short down here, got stopped out, and it stayed above the stop area the entire time. So neither one of these stop outs, the stop areas on those trades, neither one of them acted as support or resistance in the short, resistance on the short or support on the long. So not really any good trade arounds to point out. Maybe a little bit of add-on opportunity. That's the third topic that I typically like to cover, is was there a good time to add to a Holly trade? Sava was so fast, there was really not a good setup to add to it. The only thing that even resembles an add-on would be this trade in Merck today, one of the big cap stocks. You can see the trade coming pretty late in the day, and then we established this little base right here. Now, the only thing that could have resembled a add-on here would be once it breached this little level here, after we get long and have to endure quite a bit of chop and almost a stop out. I mean, we got really close to a stop right about 12:30 my time, but didn't quite tickle it. Start to march back up. We break out of this little base right here. You could have said that this is the closest thing that resembles an add-on opportunity. But to that point, 76.30-ish, we could call it, there was only about 30 cents in there that could have been had. And that was if you decided to add to it. If you were like me today, you weren't just really looking to add on to a lot of things because things might be working, but they just didn't set up as nicely as they typically do when it comes to add-ons. So all in all, when we look at the totals over here, based on $100 per trade, conservative up a smidge, moderate up a smidge, and if you just threw caution to the wind and held everything all day, you didn't lose that much. So all in all, pretty much considering this just a wash, a flat for the old AI. On not too many trades. How many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 longs and 2 shorts. So pretty much flat on 8 trades across all risk factors. Andy, anything else you want to point out on a Holly trade before I give it back to you?
No, you pretty much hit it, you know, and you know, really not bad considering the crazy action we had today. But oh, yep, you want to send it back? Or
yep, here you go.
All right, see it, Jamie?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, guys. So, you know, there's been lots of talk about the races. And I was teasing the boys the other day as they're finally, especially Barry, after he finally started really using it with his morning watch list, and he's loving it now. And I told him I'm glad you guys finally came around. You know, so anyway, I think it's important. I know a lot of you guys who are in Barry's room. You probably know what to look for. Barry will definitely help out when it comes to that. But I'm just going to fire up. This is when I run in the morning, and I got you know, winners since the open, $1 to $10, and then winners since the open from $10 to $30. And what I wanted to do today, as this kind of runs, it's only about 2 minutes long, is talk about, you know, I think instead of sitting back and waiting to see who the winner is, you can kind of look at some of the early leaders, you know, in the race. I started this one 15 minutes after the bell. So you can kind of get an idea by looking at the ones that are kind of taking off to a lead. And I do pause this and restart it. So if you see the cars jump around, that's the reason why. Yeah, so what I like to do when I'm running these is see these ones that are kind of jumping out early in the lead. So let's take example, this P10 right here. And I'll just put it on pause because I obviously can't click on this video to see the, to link to the charts. So let's take a look at P10. And what are we looking at? Okay, first of all, remember it's changed from the open. So it opened way down here, and so immediately, you know, this came onto the screen. Now this, if I'd have been running this, even though, wait, where is it? Oh, let me take off pre-market. Is throwing things off here. That's what it was. So you can see this one. Had I been running this in the first 15 minutes, this thing would have won the first race, no doubt in my mind, but I wasn't. And then yet still there it is in the second bar. Let me just zoom in here. And this is where you would have started, you know, taking the lead. Well, you know me, even as I'm a swing trader now, but even as a day trader, I would always focus on what is happening in the daily chart. Okay, I try to get out of the mumbo jumbo in the in the 15-minute chart and see what's happening on the daily chart. Well, let's look here. You got a major breakout right there on the daily at $11. Okay, and that would have been right when it was coming through, right where we saw it just in popping up. Okay, so that's got my eye right now. Okay, the next thing I would do is I would zoom out and see where it is. Okay, not only that, you got a level over here at $11 that it's breaking through. And you got a level over here where it's breaking through. So to me, this one's definitely on my radar, okay? Because you are potentially, you know, having a major breakout through a key level there at the $11 range. And so this would have been on my radar, and eventually, even as the market sold off, this one, you know, held up very well. Imagine had the market not sold off like it did. I'm really thinking this would probably be around 1250 or something, or maybe 1225 or something like that, given its relative strength as the market went to lows. So that is what I would be focusing on. I'm looking at the volume, and not only that, as I said, I'm looking at see if it's had earnings, and this one had earnings. So that one would have been a very good candidate. Okay, now there's a lot of these. I've noticed what you've been seeing a lot, and you guys like to know, you know how I like to kind of look for patterns to bottom fish on. I've been having a lot of good trades lately on these things, so you're going to see a lot of bottom fishing coming on these charts because that seems to be what's moving lately. IWM was off, like I said, we showed earlier, was off to a great start today, and it was very strong. So you had a lot of, you know, small caps coming through. All right, there's one right there. Let's take a look at MAC. MAC kind of gets up there. Let's see what's going on in that one right there. So this is, you know, now MAC is a little bit different story. Nothing like P10. You can see it's in a downtrend. Okay, if I'm not going to pull out the thing, but you can see the downtrend there. And not only that, it's running through. Okay, so when we saw it coming in today, it was hitting the 20 period moving average, and then right above that you had the 50 period moving average, and then you had this pivot line right here where you would have to basically kind of right there where it stalled, you know, going back to over here, there's a bottom there. So, and you can see that's exactly where it ran up to. Now, some traders don't mind that. They will play this thing for $1 if they see this early and they, you know, and they see, you know, with the potential where it may go. You know, you got to be quick because you can see it ran right up to that line right there and never visited again. Market obviously took a hold of it, but this one not as strong as P10 by no means. Okay, and so this one you're kind of playing at your own risk, because even if you grabbed it right here, you got a pivot level right here at 16, you know, the 1675 level. So, you know, you had to be really quick on something like this. Me, I probably would have passed, okay, because I can find something stronger like that P10. All right, let's go a little bit further and see what happens as we move forward. Well, let's take a look at the DMRA real quick. Okay, that's taken out to the 1, the 2, $10. Is it DRNA or is that 10? Okay. To me, this is, that's no brainer. I pull this up and I'm not looking at this chart for over 2 seconds and I'm moving on to the next one and never returning back to it. I mean, this is a very, very ugly chart. There's nothing constructive about that chart. Even though volume was coming in, huge volume, I don't even know what the news was, but this is not something I'd be interested in, probably till it got above maybe the $2, you know, 220 level or something like that. So easy one to scratch there. Like I said, in a matter of seconds. Okay, over here we see AMC. All right, let's pull up AMC. Okay. Now for me, this is interesting, okay, because of the move it had yesterday on decent volume. Okay, you had a couple of days here, you know, you're above the 10 period and the 20 period, and it was taking out yesterday's high, you know, on this bar. So I know there's a good chance. I know this is a momentum stock. Okay, so this is one I might take a chance. I didn't. Okay, I don't day trade anymore, so I didn't do anything with this one. But if I did something like this, this is exactly what I'm looking at. Where might it go before it runs into trouble? And all you got to do is look left, and you can see a serious pivot level right here. There's your low. That's the low it tried to hold. Well, once it broke that support, that now becomes resistance. And you can see exactly what happened. It ran right up to that level, and boom, never went back since, you know. So maybe an area you can watch, you can mark up, put your little price alert. If it ever gets back up here again, hey, gets through, I might be interested in that one. But I could see where an active trader with the volume coming in here in this morning may be interested in a scalp in AMC. All right, so let's, once again, guys, I cannot stress, even for active traders, how important it is to look at the daily charts. That is where it's going to show you where a stock may go, where it may run into trouble. It has a tendency, stocks have a tendency to fulfill their destiny when they're running on these daily charts. Let me see what else comes up here. And I probably only have a couple more. Talked about AMC. Come on, let's go a little bit faster. Okay, there's INNV, kind of takes the lead on the $1 to $10 stocks. Okay, I might want to see what's going on there. Pull it up. Once again, scratch. I mean, look at that. You had a massive gap down over here. No telling what that was, and could not get above it. And then it actually gapped down and was trying to run up. So this one, very similar to the other one we looked at, where you're just scratching that real quick. Okay, it's just, there's nothing there on the daily. And let's see LSK. This one, I think it ends up popping up here, so I'm going to talk about this one right now, actually, because this one actually had some potential. Okay, it did not look too much, okay, but anytime you have kind of a bottoming, these little bottoming processes where, let me zoom in on the daily here, where they pop above their moving averages and then that 10 period starts holding, all right, then it got above the 20 period and then you had the 10 crossing. This has potential, you know, this is something I'd be looking at. Now, once again, very similar to the AMC. I'm going to show you what we see here. Look at that. Ran right into, so this is one that you could grab for, you know, $1.50, and it ran right into that level. Like I said, stocks, when they get moving, especially on volume, okay, they have a tendency to go to an area that might add some resistance to that momentum that it has going with all that volume, and that's exactly what you saw there. So yeah, I mean, I don't need stocks to be above all their major moving averages to buy them. You know, I can see, you know, a chart, and I can see volume coming in, and you can still play charts to, you know, certain areas. So this is one that, hey, I might look at that volume was huge. Volume bar was huge. So this is one where you could definitely, you know, give it a shot. And I really hope this is making sense to you guys, because you know, I'm not one that likes to buy all-time highs. I will if it's a major breakout, like on earnings and big volume. But it looks like we're coming to the end. I think I've gone through about all of them here. Let me just kind of zoom to the end. There was one more I kind of wanted to talk about. Let's see here. I think it may have made a move toward the end. No, I might have missed it. Let's see. I have it down here as open. Open was on there at one time. I think I probably zoomed through fast to it, but another one very similar to the one, okay, a stock that has kind of bottomed out, popped up, and now it's being supported by its 10-period moving average, and you have your 10 crossing your 20. This would be one that, you know, once it took out that high right there, that I might would have given it a shot, although it went right up here to this area kind of resistance back over here, like similar to what you saw in the other charts, and then of course it backed off. But keep in mind, guys, a lot of this, remember what the market did today, okay? Had it not just sold off, you know, on that news like it did, a lot of these charts would have not looked the way they do. But anyway, I wanted to go through that, just kind of give you an idea when you're watching these races. Don't just think, oh boy, the winner, I gotta pick the winner and stick with it. You know, you still have to trade them. Look at the daily charts, see where a stock might be headed, see if a stock is, you know, breaking out of an area like that P10. You know, P10 may be one that has a nice follow through tomorrow. And just let me know, Jamie, if I have any questions. I see you answering a couple over there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Todd was talking about
Okay.
the graphic, but I'm not sure exactly which one he was referring to.
Is he talking about the car graphic?
Yeah, the race car graphic.
Yeah. Let's see. Thanks. That's what I wanted to understand. Let's see. In the race car graphic and trade as if that would be fun to set up if it is. Yeah, that one. What is that car race graphic? Yes, it is in trade ideas. Yes. If you obviously maybe not a subscriber now. Yes, this is available to all of our clients, and it's opening some eyes. You know, it took a while. Most of the traders here, like myself and Jamie, we've been doing this been trading for a very, very long time. So we kind of get set in our ways, get a little dogmatic at times. But boy, when this technology was introduced to us, man, it opened my eyes up really quick. And then Barry's using it now. It's a great way to show you. And let me give you an example. Okay, say you're looking at a top list, like this revenue growth fishing. Okay, if a stock in a top list, let's say this EVGO, okay, which had a great move today. I was in this from the other day. I was kicking myself today. But let's say this one took off like it did today, okay? And it's way down here in the top list, and then all of a sudden it starts having a great move. You're not going to be able to see that in a top list, okay? Unless you're just kind of focusing on, you know, the stock at the time it happens. But if you're running a race, this thing, the car is going to jump out, just like the video I was just showing you. It's going to jump out to the lead. Okay, so even though it may be 10, 12 deep in a top list, if it's based on change from close or change from open, you're going to see it a lot quicker in a race, and you're not going to have to wait for it to get to, you know, a huge move for it to enter the top of your top list there. So a lot of value in those car races, and I think more and more people are coming around to it and seeing what you know, the value that it does bring to the table. All right, I better get moving on because I do have some more stuff here, but Yeah, there you go, Todd. It's a great way to track your portfolio. I mean, you could just make a top list of all your portfolio and then just have it in a race. Great example. All right, so the other day, yes, there's a way to run for bearish trades. Okay, what you're going to see is in the bearish trade, let me show you, where these lines are green. The only difference right now, I mean, obviously the cars aren't going to go backwards, but the only difference is they're going to be races to the downside, and this line that you see that is green is going to be red. Okay, so yes, you can run them to the bear side as well. All right, the other day I shared this death row inmates, and if anybody, I'll go ahead and drop it in there again in case nobody, you weren't in that webinar that I had. And basically, I built this for the possible changing conditions that we're seeing in the marketplace. You know, these could be very good short candidates. And what I did is I sorted it by position in 3-month range, with the smallest being on top, which means I'm sorry, not 3-month, 10-day range, with the smallest being on top. Smallest, it's kind of, when you're looking at negative numbers, you see what I'm doing there though. I want to catch the ones that have not moved so far, you know, down in their 10-day range. Okay, so these will be more set up. Let me show you an example of some of these trades. Well, I'm not sure what that was, but this is a great example. Okay, so the 10-day range, it's basically in still off the lows of its 10 days. So there's your low for the 10-day, and it's above. So the 10-day range is -0.7. So this is has a great potential to break down. Imagine flipping this chart around, and if you're looking at stocks that are trying to break out, this would be you'd be salivating over a chart like this. Well, just so happens if this thing breaks down below this area right here, there's a real good chance you're going to see, you know, a pretty big move to the downside. So this is a great way to find stocks that are positioned for a move to the downside. Okay, and that's not my topic for today. So I'll go ahead and share this one right here, and let me just go ahead and save it and share it. So you guys will have access to it for some of you guys who may be looking for good short entries. Let's call it death row. I'm just going to call it death row. And there is your cloud link to have access to it. So what I did is I took this and I flipped everything. Okay, so now we're going to have all of these stocks are going to be above all their major moving averages. Okay, if we just click on one, you're going to see they're all above their 20. Let me get the thing here. The 200, the 50, the 20, and the 10 moving average. Any stock in this window has got to be above all those major averages. And what I did with it was, instead of using a 10-day like I did on the death row inmates, I'm using a 5-day. So I want to find things that may be kind of consolidating over the last 5 days. And here's the way I did it. We'll go to the configuration here, and don't worry, you don't need to copy this. I will share this as well. And let me make this big so we can see everything. Hide unused. All right, so all of this does right here, the change from 10-day SMA all the way through the 200 is just, all you got to do is put 0.01 in the minimum to show that a stock is above that moving average. Okay, this EPS, all this is a hack to eliminate any ETFs. Position in 3-month range. I want this in between 95, so in other words, close to the high of the 3-month range, but I don't want it stretched too far out. I'm not looking for stocks that have already gone in the stratosphere. You know, that's not what I'm trying to look for. I'm trying to look for stocks that may be going to have a move soon. Position in your range that's pretty redundant. I think if they're trading in there, well, not necessarily. I shouldn't say that. If we was in a big bear market, it wouldn't be the case. Price above $5, volume today 200,000. Change in 5 days, I got a maximum of 5%. Okay, so I do not want the stock to have had more than a 5% move over the last 5 days. Now, what I've done is I sorted by change in 5 days with the smallest on top. Okay, So I'm trying to find those stocks that possibly are kind of consolidating over a 5-day period. See, let's take a look and see what we have here. All right. A lot of these times you're going to see buyouts in here. See, that was a good one right there. Even though it's an ADR, I can tell by looking at the way it trades. Yeah, it's an ADR. Tried to break out today. You know, this one doesn't move a whole lot. We're only talking 10, 20 cents at the most. I'm not going to spend time on that one. Funky trading one of those investment pools ones. I see all those wicks. I'm really not interested. Vonage. Now Vonage is a buyout. This is I typically I have a way to eliminate buyouts by changing 5-day. I put 1 in the minimum, and that means it has to have at least moved 1% over the last 5 days, and that would eliminate all these buyouts like this. But unfortunately, with this stock, since I'm looking for stocks that may be, down, that in that area for a possible trade, I did not want to use that one in there. This one was a good one. It would have been a good one this morning. It opened up right at its 10-period moving average. Okay, so there you see the strength, and you can see it's been consolidating, and it opened up and had a great move this morning. Of course, got caught by the market and sold off. So this is the kind of stuff I'm looking for. If I'm looking at this window in the morning and I see this thing open up down around its 10-day, boy, that's almost a quick buy for me. I mean, just, for a swing trader, if you're looking to maybe hold on for an extensive move. Another good one. Right now, you can see it is basically just kind of growing sideways after a nice move. It's got a level right here that it's trying to break through. Right there. Ran up there and could not get through today. Of course, once again, the market got a hold of it, but this is the kind of stuff I'm looking for. It's above all its moving averages. It hasn't moved that much in the last 5 days, and it is consolidating right above its 10-period moving average. So, might want to mark that one up if you're looking at it. HIG, once again, this morning when it gapped down, had a big move, but was sold off with the market. So you can see what we're kind of getting at here. I'm trying to find these ones that, once again, another buyout looks like there. Chubb, a lot of insurance companies have been doing well lately. They usually pay a dividend. There's a good one right there. There's Travelers, another insurance company. See these dividend paying stocks. I think a lot of people are in this sketchy market are maybe jumping into some safe plays. Here's a good one. If it pulls back and runs into this moving average right here, maybe one to jump on. All right, guys. So that's it in a nutshell. And you can look at more of these. So you can see as you get down, and this is why I do it down here toward the end. A lot of these ones have going to be moved over the last few days, but you could always look at those and mark them up for a pullback. They're all going to be very strong charts. They're all going to be obviously above all their moving averages, but it's not a bad one right there but it's an ADR. All right, so let me share this with you. Let's see. And I'll drop it once again into the chat panel above. SMAs, 5-day. Oh, well, you guys know what it is. I kind of butchered it there when I wrote it in there, but you'll see the name on the alert when you grab it. All right, well, that's basically all the content that I have for today. We do have a little time left. If anybody wants to throw a few charts out there, I know I'm kind of hitting you on the spot with that, but if you want me to look at anything, or you may have any questions about something you're in and you're worried about, I always like to mention what I've done lately, and I usually save this for Friday, but I've been pretty active over the last couple of days, but I did get out of a lot. Snap is probably been one of my best trades in a long time. And I think Barry kind of followed me on this trade. I talked about, I bought this in the earnings only because it sold off 23% on Facebook's earnings. And I'm going like, and then they had earnings. So this is one that I bought. I love the way it's been trading. Although I did sell, when it got to this 50 period moving average, I did sell half of my position. But still, look at that, held up very well. This is one you want to keep on the radar, guys. I mean, when you see the market, that's what you call relative strength. Look at this. Look how it's been charging higher the last 3 days, and especially looking at the action today in the market. It's going to lows. Look at the Qs. Okay, this is the kind of stuff you look for, and look, Snap holding on really good. So it's one where even though I took some profits today, I'm still in half of my position that I would actually buy back. The market gets a bid tomorrow and this thing gets back above 42, I may be back all, full load again. But let's see, make sure no one's dropping some charts in there. How about, oh man, I'm losing, how about Dow? Okay, let me take a look. Yeah, it's on the list. Dow, once again, look at that dividend yield. Okay, it's 4.5%. Yeah, this is one, a lot of people will play these kind of things, for the dividend yield, just kind of a safe place to park your money. Hopefully you don't get killed on the price, and you earn a nice little dividend yield. So yeah, that doesn't look bad at all. I'm glad you pointed that out, Linda. That's you can mark this up. I typically don't trade these kind of stocks for an aggressive move. I'm looking for something that moves a little quicker. But if you're like an investor, or want to sit in things for a while, this could be a great potential candidate right here. Nothing wrong with that at all. All right. Let's see, a couple of, I won't give you everything that I've done lately, but BKKT was a good one for me. Now I bought this on this day, actually at I think 468 or something like that, 465. I remember calling it out to the guys. Added to my position on this day because I love the setup it was having right here. And then, boy, great move yesterday. Now I didn't participate in this run today all the way up to 863. I sold it at the close yesterday at 763, I believe. So I could have held up out for another buck, but I wouldn't have never gotten out at the top there for sure. DCFC. Yeah, this has been a nice runner. Okay, like a lot of things, it got tired today. It is a SPAC, I believe, and so you got to be careful with those. DWAC has been a hot SPAC for sure. That one's still setting up nicely, holding that 10 period for some time now, for a couple of weeks. CFVI has been another one that's had some nice up and downs. I actually got an alert. I had a bid this morning to buy it if it came down to 13.10, but it never got there. But this is one where I may stick a bid in the morning and see if I get just a jam down and can buy that. I like the way this is setting up. Thank you, Todd. Appreciate it. Let's see. I'm new to trading and I don't know how to set up my charts like that with indicators that I need to start off. Is there a video that discusses how to set up the charts? You know what? We do have some videos. I tell you what I'll do. I will, let me go ahead and share mine with you. Okay, I can share these charts. Now, I just keep it basic, but with some volume bars, I'll definitely share this with you. Let me see, save and share. And then I will show you, I don't, if you want to send who was that, Lena? If you want to send a email into info@trade-ideas.com, Scott will show you that at the end of our webinar, okay? And we can get you a video. I just don't have access to one right now that I can get you real quickly. But here is my daily chart. And here is my 15-minute chart. There you go. All right, you're welcome. You guys are welcome. And with that said and done, I am going to bring in Scott. He's going to walk us out, and you guys hang in there. He's going to offer you a discount code, and we'll also talk about our test drive that's coming up.
Yeah, thanks. Nice presentation, Andy. Yeah, so if you want to check out stock racing, go to tradeadeas.com/stock race and learn a little bit more about that. You do need to download one of the newer builds to enable it, even if you have a subscription. We got a test drive coming up next week. It starts on the 14th. 2 weeks, you get to try out premium trade ideas. Just go to trade-ideas.com/test drive and sign up, learn some more on that page. It is a great idea for subscribers that are standard subscribers to decide whether or not they need the premium features. So go ahead and sign up for that as well if you're a standard subscriber. We have a relationship with Interactive Brokerage. We connect directly to them from our Brokerage Plus module. So go to tradeadeas.com/IBKR to learn about opening an Interactive Brokerage account. They have one of the best short lists available, and they're a super reliable broker. We also have an E-Trade connection with Brokerage Plus that's zero commission. So if you already have an E-Trade account, learn how to connect it at trade-ideas.com/E-Trade and get in on that $0 commission experience. There's a Strength Alerts newsletter that you can sign up for, and it's only $17 per month if you're not ready to subscribe to a regular Trade Ideas subscription. Just go to trade-ideas.com/strength to find out about that. And there is a discount code this month. Love TI saves you 15% off your first month or year of Trade Ideas if you decide you want to start up now. If you're not quite certain, go ahead and sign up for that test drive that we have going on next week. Any questions, email us info@tradeadeas.com. You can also find us on YouTube/TradeIdeas. There's a daily support session there. And we also have some accounts at Trade Ideas, at Quantbot, at TI Steve G, and others on Twitter. All right, so stay tuned for the update about the recording of the sesh. And thank you, Andy, and thank you all. We will talk to you soon. Bye.
Thanks, everybody. I'll see some of you guys tomorrow.